Yeah, great.
Whoa, this ain't going.
Down the side, and
But I appreciate everybody on the chat tonight for your comments. Welcome to the Bee Connection. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. Felt more like Thanksgiving to me because I'm stuffed like a turkey. I tell you what, I ate like a pig. Man, the food was so good. I tell you, it was just a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and man, it was just so good. The food was. Opened the presents. I think I took a nap a few times during Christmas Day, so maybe at least 4 times. My wife's on here; she'll tell you that's a fact. Just drifting in and out, going into a food coma. So yeah, JW knows what I'm talking about there. Yeah, when it comes to the bees, it didn't do nothing all week in the bee yard. It's still not time to really mess with them for me. Probably if I get a warm spell here in January, I'll crack some tops and see if I need any sugar or anything topped off. So anyway, JW, what's going on with you, brother?
About the same as you, Rick. Just trying to recoup from overindulging, and the weather hadn't been too nice here the last couple of days. Rained the last 2 days, pretty much all day.
Wow.
Just drizzled all, just nasty, just cloudy, drizzly. Yesterday and today also. Supposed to, it may be raining again right now. So they had it forecast. And next day and tomorrow, clear through the weekend pretty much.
Well, I tell you, the weather in here has been like you. It's been up and down. We've had just a little bit of snow. Then we got one. See, what was that? Saturday, I think we ended up with a little snow on that day. So, and it's been cool enough that it's actually still sitting in the yard. So we technically had a white Christmas here. So anyway, it was a good Christmas. Did you get anything that you needed, JW, or you just like you got everything you really
needed, and then some.
Well,
I got 3 sacks of sticks and 2 buckets of coal.
Well, you'll stay warm with that.
No, all my grandchildren are. Well, my baby grandchild is a senior in high school, so it's not too exciting around our premises as far as the Christmas part of it, as far as the kids are concerned. So we don't have to. It's not a lot of fun anymore since they've kind of all grown up. So
right.
I'm not saying it's not fun, but it's we all get together at our place on Christmas Eve. So
right.
I said yesterday was the longest day I'd had this year. The wife and I just pretty well sat around all day. I didn't do much at the farm. I went out there and fed my cats and
right.
back home and checked my bees and everything. Actually, it's warm enough here, even though it's in the 40s. Bees are stirring a little bit. They're not hard. They're not out flying much. But in between the showers, they'll venture out a little bit and fly a little bit.
Yeah, they like to do their cleansing flights. You'll see them out just a little bit, and then they'll jet back in. You ain't gonna see a bunch of bees out, but you're gonna see some bees come out and do their business. So
yeah.
Now, Lee Man,
little specks around on top of the hive tops and stuff.
Yeah. Now Lee Man there, he's 74 degrees at his place, and maybe he can tell us how his bees are doing and tell us how Christmas was if he wants to jump on here in just a second and tell us how everything is. But just so you know, Tom and Melissa tonight, they got started really late to their trip, so they may not be with us till late tonight. And Spanky had some family in also, so he will not be with us tonight either. So anyway, Lee, how's things going with you?
Yesterday, nothing but rain all day long. So we still got standing water, but today, no rain. It was just cloudy all day, 72, 73 degrees. I mean, a little breeze, so it was nice.
Right.
Now, I did get out there 2 days ago playing with it. Well, I've been playing with a chainsaw for the past week. But 2 days ago, I was out there with it and decided to jump on the mower, go back by the bees, and they were flying good.
Yeah.
Plenty of traffic in and out. Now, what they're foraging, I don't know if there is anything out there right now, but they're burning some fuel.
Yeah.
Downside, I did find 2 slime outs.
No.
And it was coming out of the front of the hive.
Mm-mm.
And bad thing was, both of the ones that were slimed out, both still had 3 medium supers on them.
Oh no.
And
Oh,
yeah,
man.
they were full last time I checked. Now, when they got slimed, I don't know. So I'm just going to take them boxes off our next clear day, set them out and let them rob what they can and scrape the rest off and render it down to wax.
So will you set those inside of a freezer to kill out any of the hive beetles? Is that what you'll do? And set the box, not do that at all?
Most likely this time I will. Normally I don't. I just set it out and let them rob what they can get. But I did just clean my big deep freeze out that's in the storage room next door. And I think it's a 24 or 25 cubic foot chest style freezer. So it's completely cleaned out right now, nothing in it. So I got room to put boxes if I need to for a couple days at least. And then set them out and let them rob whatever they can get.
Yeah. I hate that happened to you, Lee, man, but it happens to the best of us. We can't be there all the time, right?
Yeah. Well, that's part of my problem too, though. I ain't been back there like I should be. I mean, I should have been keeping an eye on them, but with the way work schedule was, I was too busy and ain't had time.
Right.
But I was hoping with 3 boxes still on it that last time I checked, I mean, they were full top to bottom. So I was hoping they were strong, but undoubtedly something happened.
Yeah. It can happen quick. No doubt. No, you never know when they might swarm out on you, and the next thing you know, you don't get a queen back and then they just get weak and die out on you. So.
Yeah.
Tom, what's going on with you, brother?
Oh, I'm pretty busy today. I went and checked 17 of my production hives, not 19 of them. I started out just checking 2 of them that I knew had bad, not very good queens in them, and they were really small going into winter. Well, they're both dead. So it didn't surprise me. But the other 17 are doing really, really well. And I put food maybe on half of them, just insurance.
So when you say when you say food, what are you putting on? Just sugar, or what you got going on them?
Sugar bricks.
Sugar bricks. Okay.
Yeah, I had a couple left over, and then the 2 that were no dead outs, I stole their sugar and put them on the other ones.
Yeah.
So I still got I don't know, about 12 more to check out. Probably tomorrow. It was 54 and sunny today.
Oh wow, that's a good day to get into the bees and look at them. So
tomorrow's supposed to be 52, and I think Saturday's supposed to be 60, but rain. Yeah.
Wow.
Last week of the year in Cincinnati, we had a blizzard in 78 this time of year.
Oh. Yeah.
So,
JW, you didn't crack any airboxes open though, did you?
I haven't cracked in. I shot everything out when Tom was out here. We could go Thursday or we could go today. Surely it's been longer than that. Whenever he was out here, we treated, and I don't intend to pop my lids until after Nobby, maybe about the middle of January again. I've got them all fed up. Mike checked, and there's all low mites, and I got sugar shims on everything, and I got a little more. It's more than just straight sugar. I got my own secret formula, but I can't divulge it because it would be. I'd have to kill you, everybody out there, if I put it out to public information. So no, it's.
I basically did this check, just taking the lids off because I got sugar shims on also,
Yeah.
just to make sure I had enough food on all of them to get me to February, first week of February, because that's when I plan on opening them all up with pollen patties on them.
I walk
So-
around my hives about every day, and there's a few flying out of each hive. So I'm not got any dead out yet. So I guess my hives are pretty strong. I had them treated up pretty good and fed up pretty good. So they're heavy.
Yeah, I would have combined those 2 weak ones to one medium one, but when I had my knee replacement, it just didn't happen.
Yep. Well, you can't save them all.
No,
Yeah.
we can't.
And I had a note on the lid on both of them that I was going to queen them if they made it through winter.
Pretty hard to come up with queens this time of year. Very queen.
I wouldn't even try.
Yeah.
So, what did you do with your equipment, Tom? What do you do with your equipment? Do you just leave it sitting out, or do you go ahead and break it down? I mean, what's your game plan when you have a dead out like that, or bees?
The two of them today, I just leave it on there, and I'll take care of them sometime in February, March. Probably in February when we get a good day. I'll clean them all up and scrape. I like to clean all the frames up where they frame ends to get all the propolis off of them so they fit back in the box good, and pull out any old frames. I think I just went through 10 boxes today besides going through those hives, and I probably pulled out 15 frames that now I'm going to go in swarm traps.
Yeah. And those
Just 'cause
frames
they're-
definitely make good swarm traps, because it's got that good smell already, especially some old frames. They work really, really good for that.
Right. I'll be able to put 2 or 3 in each box.
How many swarm traps you going to put out this year? Do you know?
Probably 9.
Okay.
9 traps.
Now, do you put them all around your location where you're at, or do you you have other spots that you put them?
I put them all over the west side of Cincinnati, and I put 3 of them at my brother's farm out in Indiana.
Hmm.
Just he's got a 101-acre farm right in the middle of Amish country. And I already talked to some of the Amish around there in the area because they're all super nice people. And they say they don't treat their bees. So I know when I catch their swarms in the springtime, I got good queens.
Yeah. Yeah. Rodney says he still has traps out for them. So that's pretty cool.
I see
Hey,
that.
JW, do you put any swarm traps out, or you like me? You're pretty much at max of what bees you want, and you're just kind of, just let them go. I have 2 traps here on the farm, but I don't have any out anywhere else like I normally do. You put any
I've
out?
got 10 traps. But I don't think I'm going to have to change my mind if I put any out this year. Last year, I think I caught 4, maybe 5 swarms. I've got all the bees I want. I really don't want any more,
Well, you can always catch them and sell them.
I know it, but I don't do that, Rick.
Yeah.
I don't do
I
anything
usually
for money.
I catch a lot of swarms, and I'll take the queen out and put her in a single frame, 2-frame box, and then I'll put one of my new queens in there. And after 3 weeks, I'll sell them.
Yeah.
Because I know they got
Yeah,
good. I know what kind of queen's in it then. Brand new queen in it.
And when you catch that swarm, they're so ready to build. You know what I'm saying? They will throw
yeah.
some comb up really quick. So
So every year I got 300 to 500 frames that need comb on it. Guess where they go? On all my swarms.
yep. Yeah, they definitely build up really well. So Dave here says he has 7 swarms traps up, but he's never caught a swarm yet. That's interesting.
Yeah, I have my own theory, and I think it's more correct. I don't think that swarm book that says 40 liters is correct. I think that's the minimum size.
Yep.
All my boxes are closer to 60 liters, 55 to 60. And I always make sure I got 4 to 6 inches of empty space underneath my frames.
Absolutely. Yep. That's the way
So,
I am. I'm pretty much doing I'm doing like it's almost like a nuke box almost. It's 5 frames and then 5 frames. And like you, I've got about 6 or 7 inches below those frames. So when they get in there, they just got, I don't know, it just seems to work out really, really well.
I think they look at that as future growth space.
Yeah.
And it works. And I like blue or purple. Bees seem to do better in blue and purple boxes.
Hmm. Now, don't they see blue and purple as black though? Or do they actually see that as in the color?
I don't know, but I had a couple blue traps and they caught more swarms than any of them. So now all my traps are blue. And I know every box will catch at least one swarm, if not two, maybe
Yeah.
three. So
I tell you
I'll
what, though,
catch.
now, to me, when I'm catching swarms, there's certain I have traps out in different spots, right? And I have sometimes I don't catch anything at a certain spot, and I'm like, that's just not a good spot for that trap. It needs to go somewhere else. And I try to find different locations. It seems like there's hot areas in certain locations, and I don't know why that is. But it's just like when you go fishing, there's that big deep hole that
Right.
you can always catch a fish out of it, and other places you're not going to catch anything.
Yeah, there's another thing I do non-traditional. I don't put traps on trees or by woods.
Hmm.
Every one of my traps is against a building,
Wow. Okay.
either a house, a barn, a shed. I like barns the best, and sheds and houses. And seems to bees like to fly to structures to look for homes.
Well, and we do a lot of cutouts in structure, so that makes a lot of sense. JW, where do you put your swarm traps at?
I put most of them in trees because I've got lots of woods around me, fence rows, trees.
I think the best spot that I've got that catches the most hives is in a big valley, and it's got all these open fields around it, and there's this little spot of trees that's in this big valley with tons of flowers and stuff. And I put one in that spot, and we'll catch 3 swarms in that same location by the end of the year. It's just crazy. So
Yeah. All my spots are doubles or triple spots. So out of my 9 traps, I'll probably catch 18 to 20 swarms.
wow, that's pretty. Now, do you scope out other beekeepers, Tom? Do you kind of look at that just a little bit?
No. I got some at friends' houses, some at garden centers, my brother's farm. I just have somebody says, well, I asked them, you mind if I put a trap in your backyard? And they say, sure. And I'll put one there. And actually, one of my best spots now, I went for 2 years and I didn't catch any swarms. And I'll catch 2 swarms there every year now.
Wow.
Who knew?
I tell you what, to me, swarm catching's got to be the funnest thing you can do. I mean, whether it's catching one in your bee yard and watching them come up and go, or just going and looking at your boxes. I mean, to me, I get so excited just to see that I catch something. I mean,
Right.
it eats me up inside, and it's like, oh, I think I see a few bees. Oh yeah, there we go. As soon as you see that hive bringing in pollen, you pretty much know you've caught a swarm. I mean, to me, that's a dead giveaway that you've caught that swarm. So,
Right. Yeah, I enjoy catching them, and I love watching swarms fly in. That's the neatest part.
yeah, I've never seen one fly in. I have seen them leave my bee yard quite a bit, but
I've
seen
seen
very
that too.
fly in. So,
Now, I think I've seen 4 of them now in the last few years. I think I posted one. It was a huge swarm too.
now that landed on the bottom of that box. Was that right? And then kind of curled up and went inside. Was that right?
Yeah, a lot of times they do that.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, a lot of times I'll find my bees. My neighbor will call me and says, "Your trap's got bees." And I said, "Okay, in the trap." And they said, "No, it's at the bottom of the trap."
Mm-hmm.
But if you wait a day or two, they usually climb in.
Yeah. Have you ever had any not to go in? I've never had any not to go in my boxes. Have you?
I had one that was starting to make comb on the back of my box. There was literally about an inch gap between the box and the house.
Hmm.
And all the bees were making comb there.
Huh.
It's a spot where I catch them every year.
Hmm.
It's on a rain barrel.
Right.
Guy's got in his backyard. I just set it right on top of the rain barrel.
Did you see what Tim and Hannah said to you? So Tom
Yeah,
was that?
yeah, I'm the one who caught the swarm in the cemetery, St. Mary's.
And I got one
My,
last year off of a fire hydrant.
Oh wow.
You know, it was on the ground. And then I had a swarm last year. I think I put out a little video on that the best I could. I had one that swarmed, went over and bivouacked about, maybe 30 yards from the original hive. And about, I don't know, 5 hours later, they picked up, and I thought they was leaving. They went back home, back in the same box they came out of.
Oh.
So I guess Mama didn't come with them when they left the first time. They gave up on her showing up, so they went back home. You know, I split that hive right after that. They never did swarm again.
Did they do pretty good with the split though?
Yeah, they did. I took Mama and moved her, and I put in a grafted queen. You know, put them in with them, and they took right off and went right on. And Mama did too.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So if you have a
I've
swarm
heard
out,
they would do that, but I never had one do that before in all my years.
Yeah,
they did last year.
Yeah. So Tom, when you have a split in one of your colonies, say it swarms out on you, do you go into that colony that's got all those queen cells and do another split, or do you just kind of let the dominant one that comes out and do her thing?
Nowadays, since I don't want to spread too much, many more hives, I'll go in there and kill all but two, maybe just leave one if it's already capped. If it's not capped, I'll leave the two that looks like the smallest larvae in them because I know they're the youngest.
Right. And you can kind of tell when the bees what queen they kind of prefer. They really do tend to that cell really good.
Yeah, they're crawling all over it, the ones they like.
Yep. Sure do.
So I usually do that. I don't get too many swarms in my yard because I try to replace my queens every year.
Okay.
And new queens won't swarm, or very seldom swarm, as long as you give them space.
Right.
You know, if you keep them in a small box, they're going to swarm on you.
I've got 3 hives that was given to me, and they hadn't been messed with in 5 years. And I finally got all new comb in them, got them running good, and they still swarm out on me. These bees swarm out every year, and they not only do they swarm once, they'll throw a sub swarm out, and you know it's like every week I'm getting a new swarm. But they're low on varroa. They produce a lot of honey, and I make some good splits off of them. So what do you do with that? The only thing, they're very aggressive, and that's the only thing I don't like about them.
Right. Yeah, I had one queen that I bought a couple of years ago, and she was great the first year. Second year, she swarmed, and I caught her. She only went to the bush. I happened to be out there when she flew out and landed in the bush. I actually took her to another property, and then it wasn't 2 weeks later, she swarmed out again. I happened to be there again, caught her, brought her back to the property. She swarmed again, and I was happened to be outside again. I finally got her, and I finally said, "This is crazy. 3 swarms." And each time the swarm was getting smaller and smaller because bees were dying or whatever. And I just pinched her and put her in a hive and put a new queen in it. I got tired of it.
Yeah. Yeah,
I've got a mentee that's got, I don't know, 18 or 20 hives. Them's the swarmers things. I think you talk about them swarmy, you know, them swarmers you caught wanting to reswarm. I think they're strains of bees that just naturally, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way you can get away from that's totally requeen and kind of, you know, and it may take a couple of requeening to do it, Rick. That's my thinking. So
Yeah, I think I probably do have some Russians and Ukrainian beelines. They're fighting with each other all the time, and they just got to go, you know. So
Yeah, I think it can happen with mutt bees too, just as well as, you
yeah,
know, lion type bees. They're just some more swarmy than others. That's my thinking.
yep.
Yeah. I had some Russian queens and I kind of faded them out. They seem to be always my most aggressive queen bees to rob other hives.
Hmm. Yeah,
Just,
and I will say that the hives that I have are really bad. That are pretty aggressive, like swarm. They do tend to really go after some of my smaller colonies
yeah,
and try to kill them out. It's hard when you're trying to raise bees and you've got some big colonies and some aggressive colonies like that, and they just want to tear them up. Especially late fall, this happens a lot here at the house,
right.
and man, it just kills me because I'm wanting those nukes for in the spring, and here they're killing out all my bees that I want to keep. So it's not fun.
Right. In fact, I changed my strategy a little bit coming this 2025 next year. All my nukes now are double 6 frame boxes, so 12 frames. So I'm going to graft right at the summer solstice, maybe the week before. So those bees will have enough time to fill out, hopefully close to 12 frames. So they won't be small bees going in the wintertime and they won't get robbed out.
Right, that makes good sense.
And
So
I'll, I'll just pull 5 frames from them, sell them, and then put a new queen in there and just keep it going.
right. So let me ask you, Tom, when you get into your spring and you do sell some nukes, right? If I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
how soon do you boost your colonies up to get those colonies that you're going to want to do more splits from? How soon do you get those started in your area? Because I know you don't want to get them started too soon, boosting themselves up. But
Right.
as soon as you can get them moving with some pollen patties or something like that, the whole lot better splits you're going to have a little bit later on. So what's your time frame for you that work?
I put patties on 3 weeks before the first maple trees that bloom.
Okay,
And typically around my area, it's the last week of February. So that's why I just stated before earlier that I plan on putting patties on the first week of February to no later than the second week of February.
okay,
And give them 2 to 3 weeks of head start. And once those silver maple trees bloom, and then the reds right after that, they won't hit any of those patties once all that real pollen is there. So I try to get them on a good 3 weeks, 3 weeks ahead of time.
okay,
Sometimes Mother Nature doesn't allow me, but
right.
that's my game plan. That's my game plan.
So would you say that for us here, it seems like we start first seeing our first drones right about the time the apple trees start blooming, and that's about peak. You know, when we're really starting to get into that flow
Oh
time with
yeah,
the yeah. Would you say that's when you really want those queens to start coming off right about that time? For it's probably about maybe middle March, like March the 20th, 30th, somewhere in there, depending on how that weather's rolling around for you.
we're about the same schedule. About the second, right around spring,
Okay.
equinox. That's when our flow really starts picking up. Everything before that's mostly pollen and a little bit of nectar.
Right.
So yeah, that's actually I'll be grafting. I typically graft right around the last week of March. Um, just and maybe the first week of April, depending on the weather, because that's when all the swarms will start making their cells.
Yeah.
So then they swarm about the third week of April to the end of April.
Yeah. And see, last year for us, it stayed so cold here. It was like almost the end of April before the temperatures really got to where they was at. And then next you know, the colonies were just blowing out because they were
Yeah.
swarming everywhere. It was the worst swarming year I have ever had was this year, I think.
And I had my worst year, and I got the most swarms I ever caught
Yeah.
because it was well in my area. February was really warm. I mean, 60s, 70s,
Yeah.
2/3 of the month.
And I was
And then-
excited because I thought I was going to get to start my bee season early, and then it got pushed so far back. It was crazy.
And then March came in, was colder than heck.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
JW, was this your worst swarming year you've ever had, or did your bees
No,
not swarm?
I don't really have a lot of swarming. I think I had 2 swarms this year.
Oh wow, man.
No, I just don't normally have real swarmy bees. Thank God.
Yeah, you're blessed.
Well, I only had a couple, but I got a friend that calls me. Everybody seems to call her when they got a swarm in their yard.
Mhm.
And she calls me all the time. So I go all over Cincinnati area to get somebody else's swarms.
Yeah. Go on out, you can have all mine. Just shoot her across 50 across Indiana and you come straight to me.
Yeah. My first swarms I catch go into my production hives. I'll take a queen in 2 frames. I'll first put them in a box, and then when they get all settled out a week later, I'll take the queen in the frame, the queen that she's starting to lay on, and I'll take all the rest of the bees and shake them in my production hives to boost them up.
I tell you what, some of those early swarms, if you give them enough comb and really get them going, man, they'll give you a honey crop and give you a good honey crop if you get them going real quick.
Yeah,
I think
if
having
it's
good comb is the key in that and ready for them.
where you get those big 10 frame swarms, and they'll fill a whole 10 frame up, and 3 weeks later they'll have 2 boxes full
Yeah, yeah.
if you got comb.
Yeah, this year I really want to be on top of my game and have my colonies ready at the peak when the poplar hits up here. I want to have several colonies just super strong, got the comb on, I'm ready to go, and hit the road running this year, and hopefully no swarming to go with that. But I say that every year, and then Mother Nature
Yeah.
has something else to go along with that. So.
My goal is 21 hives to be rocking by end of March.
Yeah. So.
See what happens.
Yeah. Nancy says you're on fire tonight, Tom. You got all kinds of good information. Appreciate that,
Yeah.
Nancy. Tom does have a lot of knowledge, and if you don't know, you do some classes and stuff. Also, is that not right, Tom? For
Yeah,
kids
I do
and other
two
things.
classes. I do a beginner's class and then a more advanced class 2 weeks after that in April. And I usually have about 20 people in each class.
Oh, somebody wants to. I don't know if it's going to beat you or beat the other Tom that comes on here, but they want to beat you in catching swarms this year. So, Haley's Homestead.
Well, I tell you what, you wouldn't believe what my traps are. They're 18-gallon blue totes. I don't like carrying those wooden boxes.
Yeah, that definitely works out good.
Yeah,
So,
and I don't put it, like I said, I don't put them in trees. I put them in chairs, and I put a bungee strap around it. I put a couple on a little platform in a barn, in a second-story barn, a loft, a hay loft, basically. I put 3 of them up there. That works really good. I actually put them inside the barn because there's enough gaps between the wood
Yeah.
outside the seating of the barn. I have one I put on cinder blocks that catches swarms every year. I do have one on a fence post in a garden center in the back of it, and that one actually sits next to a big pile of gravel.
So I've got a log that I got that had a hive in it, and I want to put a 10 frame on top of it and use some of that hollow area also inside and see if that won't draw them in this year. I was going to put that log up, late fall, but I never got a chance to get it in the ground. But I'm going to put it in the ground and maybe in the middle of the field, and put a 10 frame on it and see if that won't catch us one. So hopefully that'll work.
Yeah, I got bees in a tree hollow right now that I did a cutout this past spring, and all the comb was brand new white, so I didn't cut them out yet. So I'm going to do that this spring if they make it. But as of right now, they look really good. And I was able to cut the whole bottom of that trunk
Mm-hmm.
4 or 5 feet higher. I was able to. It was a double trunk tree. I was able to cut all that tree out of there, take that, put it in my truck. Actually have a dump loader pick it up, put it in my truck. I had shorts and t-shirts on the whole time. Didn't take one sting. They were the most docile bees I've ever had.
Mm.
You know, but you usually fire up a chainsaw and those bees get mad.
They do get mad. Yes, sir.
So first I had both trees were a good 4 feet diameter, and I had to split it down the middle and cut one half off before I could even get to where the bees were. And I brought my suit and everything to put on, but I never did. So they might be my grafting. That hive I might graft from just because they're the calmest bees I've ever seen.
Yeah. So I just want to throw out there, I am extremely jealous of you guys going to the Nobby. And the more I think about it, the more it kills me that we will not be going this year. I tell you what.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss you there, Ricky.
I tell you, me and Ruth was talking about it on the way to town, and about how we was going to miss everybody. And the more I thought about it, the more it bugs me, because it's kind of like, you know, all your friends are going to this big party, and I'm not getting to be a part of this party, you know, and feel left out. So I do feel a little jealous, and but you guys definitely have a good time at the Nobby, and if you do anything, just, you know, throw some snowballs at me or do something, you know, it's just rub it in, let me know how good it was, you know, and I'll hear all about all the good stories that I missed out on. So
I did see the 10-day forecast today.
yeah.
It'll be sunny all 3 days, and it'll probably be upper 30s to mid 30s. No rain, no snow. It'll be sunny every day. Just be cold, a little cold. I know it's supposed to be like 35, 37, 33 here, and Louisville's usually 5 to 7 degrees warmer than us up here in Cincinnati. So they should be upper 30s and sunny.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's not some bad weather for that area, really, if you start thinking about it.
No, not being sunny is a specialty around here because it's cloudy and rain. Like tomorrow it's supposed to rain, Saturday it's supposed to rain, Monday it's supposed to rain, Tuesday it's supposed to rain, get cold and then clear out.
Yeah.
And typically it's so cold it's not rain, it's snow.
Yeah.
But
So I think Lee Man's in the giving mood. He said something about wanting to do a little giveaway here. Would you guys like to do a little giveaway? I know it's Christmas and it's kind of gone by, but you know, we could definitely give a few more things away. And for all you folks that won on the live on Joey's channel, you know, congratulations there. I know we got us a little inner cover, and I'm going to enjoy having that on my bees hives this year. I'm actually let that go to my mom's house so that when she has friends over, she can let them see inside the colony, her place, because she does like to have a few bees there. But congratulations, you guys that won. If Clay's on here, I think Leslie won the pictures for my wife. I would be glad to send you my email address, and we'll see if we can't get those products to you. I think Philip had mentioned that you may be going to Nobby, and if you are, we can maybe just get them sent there. I think Keith Philman might be able to have just a little bit more room in his vehicle to get one more thing to Nobby for us. I appreciate Keith willing to take a few items for us. He's taking an observation hive for Grammy and taking an observation hive for Tim and Hannah that we have made. And so I do appreciate these guys for, or appreciate Keith for taking those to these guys for me. So that's definitely awesome. So Lee, if you want to jump on here and let us know what you're thinking about giving away, I definitely would appreciate it.
I got something to give away.
Yeah. Well, somebody's got something to give away.
I got some packs of the little QMP sticks. Yeah, if I can get it in the right area. It's got 2 sticks in each one. Do a giveaway on that first.
There you are, Nancy. May win those. You won't have to worry about getting them in yet.
All right, now let me get this up here to share on the screen. I got to move to another screen. If y'all enter this in the comments, you'll put your name in the drawing for the Queen Mandibular Pheromone sticks.
I like using those sticks. I have a couple in the freezer from last year.
Yep.
From this year.
Enter hashtag QMP. And we'll give that a few minutes to run, see how many people enter that.
I'm going to try that myself.
In fact, when I graft and I make my split a week early, I will go ahead and put one of those sticks in there, and they won't make any. They won't make any queen cells.
Yep. They think the queen's still there. So
they got a queen.
And then by the time you take that stick out, there's no eggs
It's
at the right age for them to make anything with.
Right. It's a good little trick.
Let's see, we got 75 people watching and 31 entries so far.
I'm going to put mine in because I could use some more.
Yeah, so that's
Larimore
hashtag QMP for drawing.
Larimore said he wants the hat.
Well, I was going to tell you, my wife just sent me a message, Lee, and asked if you was going to put that little dog of yours in the Rollins. So
you think Tom gets a black eye from Melissa? You'd have to see what Renee done to me if I gave that dog away. Yeah, y'all would all be coming to my funeral.
Hey, has anybody heard from Tom lately? Is he still alive?
Yeah, they're on the road driving to the location that they're supposed to have some get together. So they're just a little behind tonight, so they couldn't be on the live.
I was half kidding there, Ricky, just because he's going to get definitely a black eye.
Yeah, he's always into trouble for some reason. I don't know why. So
yeah, he's either eating or in trouble.
We're up to 40 right now.
Okay, hashtag QMP. Get your name in there, folks.
Give them 1 to 2 more minutes.
Okay.
And the best thing about them, you can keep them frozen, and they last a long time.
Yep. That's where I keep mine in my little mini freezer here in the office.
My wife doesn't know, but I have them in the freezer up in the kitchen.
Let's see. You'll have to excuse my mess in here, but they stay on the top of that little mini fridge or the freezer on the top.
Yep. He's a smart man. Lee's that's why he's still married and everything. He does things the right way. He puts in his own little fridge.
She just tolerates me. Yeah, she wasn't too happy when she got home today. She was coughing and sneezing, holding her nose. I like doing a little herbal medicine on the side. So I was making an herbal antibiotic. Well, it's been basically marinating in the jars for a couple weeks now, so I had to put it in the oven to dehydrate it down. And when she come in, all you can smell is jalapenos, horseradish, garlic, and she wasn't too happy.
Oh, they're good. That garlic's good stuff.
Yep.
I
might be able to do that, Phil, but it'd be 2026. You might have to wait a little while.
Phil, we're going to miss going out to eat with you. I think we went out to eat with Phil. Was it every night, Lee, last year?
Yeah, just about. And even the one that we didn't go out to a restaurant, me, Phil, and Renee, we met down in the hotel, I guess, little restaurant, and it was actually pretty good there. At the, I believe that was the Hilton.
Yeah,
I think that was the Hilton we stayed at. But they had some good food, and it really wasn't bad priced.
Nancy's asking if your little tonic cleared her out.
Oh yeah, she's cleared. She's outside right now on the front porch. That's normally where she sits every evening when she gets home from work, though. Yeah, Phil said that was the Hilton Garden Inn.
Yeah.
But they had some pretty good food there.
I got my dinners already figured out all 3 nights, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Mm.
I think it's just about time. We made it up to 48 anyway. So, gonna hit this draw button if y'all ready.
Yep, there we go.
Bill Lee, Mr. Bill.
Hey, Bill.
Hey,
Congratulations.
congrats, Bill.
Let me
Yep.
see here. I'll get my email address put in over here.
Yeah, I think I caught 26 swarms this past spring.
Wow. I know Rodney caught a bunch here in North Carolina. I mean,
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
hammered.
Mr. Bill Lee, if you'll look at the bottom of the screen there's my email address. Just email me your contact information and I'll get that sent out to you.
Yeah, I think I caught maybe 10 of them in my traps, 12 of them in my traps, and the rest of them were people that called me.
So how does that work for you? Does the bee association work hand in hand with you, Tom, on those swarms, or does people just in the area know that you will come out and get them?
We have a lady that lives on the east side of Cincinnati. It's Save Your Bees, Patty. And she was looking for a beekeeper on the west side of Cincinnati that she could call for swarm calls in the west side. So I got to know her, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. And first couple of years, I just got a couple swarms, and now she calls me on a regular basis for any swarms that are on the west side of Cincinnati or down in Kentucky or in southeast Indiana. Since I live right in the corner of all, the 3 states. There's not many people in 15 minutes. I can be in 3 states and cross 3 rivers. 20 minutes. Not many people can say that.
No, I don't think many people could say that.
Ohio,
tell
Indiana,
us
Kentucky.
tell us where you're going to be. Now it looks like a lot of people. I guess you're going to the no life beekeepers thing on Friday night, and then what you got planned for the rest of the week? Or
Well, the no life is on the 1st, on Wednesday
Okay.
the 1st.
Wednesday the 1st. That's right. My bad.
We're replacing your Mexican one on the
Oh,
first
that's right.
day. The pre night, I should say.
Yeah.
Then the next night, I have 3 cousins that live in the southern part of Louisville, so I'm actually meeting them Thursday night, and then Friday night I'm going with the Hives for Heroes.
Okay.
I'm going to sign up at NABI to be a mentor next year.
Yeah, that's an awesome program, and I had a mentoree this year for House for Heroes, and it went great. Not only did she help me, she had things going so well. She took a class and she got a nuke, and she ended up getting honey this year from that same nuke. It was so strong. So definitely a great program, and people that will appreciate your help. They really do. So
Yeah, and whoever I get picked, matched up with, if they want to get bees, I'll get them all set up, and my first 2 swarms might go to him or her or whoever it is. Who knows?
I believe Phil's got you beat there, Tom. He can be in a different country. I know he can cross 1 river.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, he got him. You're right, JW.
When I drive to Kentucky, that's almost like a different country.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Grammy's got some information here for you, Tom. She says you need to go online and sign up as a mentor. They don't typically have you sign up at the booth. I will say Matt Booth for me here in North Carolina took care of everything for me. And the first person that I had kind of dropped off, and then I contacted him, and he got me somebody else for the second time. So he was really good here in North Carolina to get me a mentoree close to my area. So that it did work out good that way. I don't know about, how that'll work at Nobby. Maybe they don't sign them up at the booth there. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I
Tom.
don't know. I was going to go online and sign up soon.
Yeah. I've been signed up as a mentor for 2 years. I've never heard one word. And I've actually contacted them, but
Yeah.
in Illinois, their rep is in the northern part of the state, and I'm here in the south end. So, and I'm kind of at a low populated area. So, there's not just a lot
Right.
of
I'm sure there's somebody in the greater Cincinnati area.
in my area. So,
Well, I think Lee's going to let us do another drawing. If you guys are ready for the second drawing here, he's got a new hashtag, and he can jump back on here and tell you what he's got.
Now, I did not buy these. These were given to me at the expo last year. It's the Swarm Commander Super Lure. Basically, it's wax infused, I believe, and you just hang it inside of your swarm trap.
mhm.
So the hashtag for that, hashtag swarm, all caps.
So that's for a lure. That's hashtag swarm. If you guys will get those in there, we'll do a spin here in just a second. I will say that Ruth got a Outback card today. So maybe if she doesn't mind, I might just try to spin that off. You think I could get away with that?
For a black eye.
We did a little dirty Santa, so she ended up winning an Outback card. So yeah, maybe I can do that. Maybe she's not on here listening, and I can get away with it. So.
There's some sense of humor here.
Hashtag black eye.
Yeah. Man, I went to a Texas Roadhouse a few weeks ago, and it was the saltiest food I've ever eaten. It wasn't very good.
I thought that was my little girl Amber, but that must be a different Amber on here tonight. So.
Yeah.
I don't think Ruth's on here. We might be able to do that Outback card. So if she was on here, you'd be like that right there.
No.
So change the subject, Rick. Your observation in-house observation hive is completely gone now, right?
It is completely gone, and that's what Philip had mentioned, that it's a swarm trap right now.
Yeah.
I don't think you can see it really. You can see it's
Yeah.
sitting there empty.
Yep.
So, what do you guys think? Should I go ahead and reboot it up early spring, or should I see if I can catch a swarm in it and watch it come in and video that? Now, that might be pretty cool.
That's what I would do. That's my vote.
That's your vote? So we'll do a little vote after this and see what people think after we do the hashtag swarm, and see what people think. So maybe I'll let y'all decide what we're going to do with that.
You might be surprised. Two springs ago, not this past spring, but the previous spring, I had some hive boxes stored in a 3-sided shed, just open shed. And it's just the sides, no lids on them, no bottoms on her, everything. And I had a swarm moved into one of those boxes and was building comb just wide open on, you know,
Yeah.
top and bottom. And they moved into it. I moved them into nurturing them along all year. And they died out on me at the end, right like in March last spring.
Wow.
I went out there and they was fine and stout, I thought. And went out there about 4 or 5 days later and checked and listened to the side of the box, no buzzing. I lifted the lid. There was, they had dwindled down pretty much enough. And I actually counted the number of bees. The queen was still with them. I don't know where they froze out. They was actually clustered up right on the candy board that I had on top of them.
Mm-hmm.
They was all in there dead. There was 867 of them. I actually counted the individual bees. Is
Oh my goodness.
you know, that's how small they dwindled down to. She must have quit laying, I'm assuming. And
Hey, Ricky, you don't treat that observation hive, do you? No, I didn't think so.
It's all
I
natural.
would wait and catch a swarm on it, and then whenever you have one that survived wintertime, then that one you do want to get in there and get that queen out.
Yeah.
Make splits off of her.
Let's see. He says, I just signed up with HFA. They told them.
Sign up for Hive for Heroes.
Yeah. I would definitely, if you wanted to do that, I would definitely sign up. It's a great program to be part of. So
Yeah. Well, I'm joining this year. I didn't think I had the time. Working full time and managing 30 to 50 hives, selling nukes and all that. But now I'm going to retire on Good Friday. April 17th will be my last day.
Mm.
I'll be free. I'll be freed up a little bit.
How many you got there, Lee, man? Are we ready to do with this new drawing?
Yeah, we up to 42 now. I believe we can hit that button.
All righty, here we go, folks.
And the winner is
Bruce
Bruce
Brown.
Brown.
Wrong button. All right, Mr. Bruce Brown, if you'll email me at the address at the bottom of the screen there, your contact information, I'll get that mailed out to you.
And if you guys will go ahead and tell me what you want to do with this observation hive. Should I go ahead and let a swarm go in it? Or should we go ahead and put a colony inside? So just in the comments, put swarm or nuke. And let me know what you think. We'll do what everybody wants to. So this is a natural, all the comb in it's natural. They've made every piece of it by themselves. I did put a little starter piece in there. But y'all let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll let it go there. And I might set a videotape up on it, and maybe we can catch a swarm going in. That would be pretty cool. So looks like that's what everybody wants to do. Yeah, I'd love to catch a monster. That would just be amazing.
Yeah.
So,
You never know.
no, you don't. That's for sure, especially early spring. I will say, like what JW was saying, when it gets warm outside, I can sit here, and the bees from my colonies here around the farm will go into this observation hive and search for anything that might be available to them, whether it's propolis or anything else. And they'll go in there, and I'll have bees in there during the day, and then late in the afternoon they'll fly back out. So they're always going in there checking this colony out, even though it's empty. So
yeah.
And I do want to say a big thank you to Lee for giving those things to give away. Appreciate that, Lee, man. You're awesome as always. And it looks like my wife's back on here. And she says swarm. And I don't think she heard about giving her gift card away to Outback. So we still may be able to go with that. So we'll see. Oh. Anyway. So it looks like for the most part, everybody's saying swarm. So we'll let that play out. And that'll be pretty exciting. Probably usually happens right around second week in March is when we start seeing the swarms around here. So, I'll set a video camera up probably starting March and just tape it every day and see if we can't catch a swarm going into that colony. That will be really cool. I think so. So I appreciate those comments in the chat. So
Might stick a little lure in it of some kind.
yeah, and that.
Where's your?
Where's
that go out through your roof? That been out through the roof, Rick?
Yeah, it goes right out the side of the. If you see the window behind me right there, it's pretty much going out about like that.
Okay.
But over there, out this back corner here,
out to the side. Yeah.
And I will say, my buddy come over and I did put the comb in the very top of the eave, and he said probably what I should have done was stick that comb more down next to the bottom and let them build their way back up into the chamber, because I do think they have a hard time defending the colony because of the comb so far back. And Tom can, you've done a lot of cutouts, so you can see this also. It seems like always the first piece of comb, like if the entrance is coming here, it's kind of flat. And there's a couple combs that way to keep that draft from going inside that colony. And see, this colony is not allowed to do that because I've stuck them so far back into the corner. When I put that little cheating comb, that's where they started at. So anyway, it's a learning experience. And I do have some video and some pictures of this thing growing to the point that it's at now. And if my wife will give me a little bit of time from working in the bathroom, I'll do a video on that. It's for 2 years. This colony's been here for 2 years. So it'll be really cool to see a time lapse of this colony as it grows. And if I always catch a swarm in the spring, that'd be a killer video to go with that. So,
all right.
Lindsay, are you still going to be doing all the setting the booths up this year for Cayman? Is that still what he's got you worked on, or you going to be doing something else this year in lobby? And again, folks, I hope you all have a good time at the Nobby, and I want to hear all the stories when you come back. We'll do several live chats just to hear what went on, because it's an amazing trip. It's an amazing time, and any of you guys that are going, it's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely jealous of you guys.
I need to make a full-size Ricky, cardboard Ricky. Take it down there and set it up somewhere inside a Nobby.
I worked for me, Tom, because there's a lot of people I'd like to see, down there. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to work on that the next couple of days.
So Jeremy says he's still going to be a big part of helping the vendor set up, and for me, people like Jeremy and Randy, the Tar Heel guy that was just on here, these guys help set up the vendors, and man, they are so great getting anything that you need, getting you set up, getting you where you need to be at.
I plan on going down Wednesday morning. Hopefully get there no later than 11.
Mm-hmm.
It takes me about 2 hours. If I can get out of the house by 9, get there by
Tom,
11.
we might be able to take this down there, and you think it'd pass for Ricky?
All right, JW. He ain't got Sussman here to pick on tonight, so
Yeah,
now
I
it's
gotta
all
pick
on
on
me. It looks like.
somebody.
Doesn't know me well enough to pick on this town.
So 1,300 square feet. Wow.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's awesome, Jeremy. So anyway, you guys get to come to the Navi, but what happens in the background is just simply amazing. How Cayman throws this thing together, and so many different pieces of the Navi is going on. And when you're a vendor, you kind of get to see some of the back door of some of that stuff, and it's really amazing. And someone might get set up, and they'll come by. Hey, do you need some help? I mean, do you need some tables? Do you need some chairs? Do you need this? And always such a great group. And we usually get to set up right next to Randy McCaffrey, the Dirt Rooster. We've set up next to him since the beginning of when it was the Hive Life.
Yep.
And that's something I'm going to miss, is not being beside of him and his wife and getting to interact with those guys. So it's
Right.
definitely a special time.
Nancy had a mic question. I missed it.
Nancy, if you want to type that back in there, we'll see what Tom says about it.
Yeah, because I treat mine very different than everybody else. And it works. And actually, somebody sent me some university overseas over in Europe. It had to be translated. Started a study about the same time I did and found the same results. In fact, since they were a university and got funded, and I don't get funded, they did a lot more extensive testing just to confirm what I thought. How long do mites live? Oh,
she wants to know, how long do mites live when the bees die? Do you know that question? Answer that question.
I think they die pretty quick.
Did you see that?
Because I know in my dead outs, I've seen dead mites on the bottom board, and I don't think those bees were dead more than a week or two. So I think it's just within a few weeks at the longest.
So does anybody in the chat or anybody know how long does a mite live for? I mean, is it a year, 2 years? Is it every other year?
There you are, Nancy's answer.
Yeah.
He's on top of it.
Yeah, but I don't know how long they live after the bees die. I don't know. That would be an ultimate treatment. Because the bees kill the mice.
So I think Lee's got another giveaway to do. So we'll go ahead and put that on here. And speaking of mites, we got Robbie's Bees on here, and he's going to be at the Navi. If you ain't got one of his oxalate acid machines, the battery operated one that I got on the last Navi, that thing is killer. So, that man knows all about mites.
I haven't purchased one yet.
I got two of them.
I still have his cord one.
I still have his original cord one, and then I have the 18 volt that I got not this last year, but the year before at Hive Life.
Yep. I've got both of them, and I definitely like the battery operated. As long as I've got a good battery, that thing definitely kicks butt. It's real quick, real simple, and I love the new ejection. Just poop and pop that in there and let it go. Love that thing. It's awesome.
Sweet Harlan said he's using his InstaVap as we speak.
Yep.
There you go.
All right, this is close to the last giveaway we just done. You got to add one extra letter in there. And again, I did not buy this. It was given to me last year. But this is the Swarm Commander Vials. There's 5 of them in here. So all you do, you kind of pop the vial in half, and then it absorbs into the cotton end. Throw that into your swarm trap and cross your fingers. On that one, we're going to do hashtag swarms with an S.
That's another thing on my traps. I don't put that much. I put a little bit of swarm rustler in, but all I do is put 2 or 3 drops on a Q-tip, put it in a plastic bag, and leave it. Don't seal it up. Leave it open. And place that in the back top on top. I just wrap it over the frame on the back of the back of the trap. And that's about it. I don't spray the front or nothing.
Yeah, for me, I use my swarm commander. I do a little squirt at the top and one little squirt at the bottom. That's all I do. And I'll refresh that about every 2 weeks. I'll go back in and I just do it one time, one little squirt in there. Because I definitely think too much. It's like a woman in church with a lot of perfume on, and next thing you know, your eyes are bulging and you're sneezing everywhere. I feel like that's the way the bees feel when you get too much swarm commander or rustler or any other kind of thing in that colony. It's just too much for them. So
I've seen swarm commander repel bees.
really,
Yeah, I had a swarm that was in a bush, and I was out of equipment, and I actually had spilled some in one of these easy nukes, and it was still really strong smell, and I just put the box underneath it. All the bees were going down into it. I had 2/3 of the swarm in the box. And all of a sudden, when they got down to the bottom of it, where all the smell was on the bottom of it, they turned around and flew right back out.
mm,
And I'm 99% sure it was the smell of the box.
Yep.
The swarm commander. I think it brought them down to it. And then once they got inside of it, they left.
Yeah, they were probably attracted to it until they got in that box. If you put too much, I mean, I can't stand the smell really. And you got to know them bees got a lot more sensitive smell than we have. So they get in there, it's real strong to them if you put too much.
Charlie, what you got? I mean, JW, what you got behind you there?
I was going to, I'm waiting for somebody to ask. Believe it or not, this just interesting little anecdote. Has nothing to do with what we're talking about. This was a apigard card that I had in the hive there late last summer.
Wow.
They totally propylized that thing. I mean, solid. I just took a picture of it. That's what it is. Let me get out of it. That's all it is. It looks large, but it's just an apigard card, and the bees that particular card. That's the only one they've done it to. But they totally propylized that thing.
I don't know if I've ever seen one that propylized up. I mean,
yeah.
You sure you didn't leave it in there for 3 years or something like that?
Sir, no, I'm telling you, that was only in there the period of time, a couple weeks. So.
Well, you can tell that's new propolis. I'm just giving you a hard time, JW, because old propolis looks really blacky, brown look. So that's
dark red.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you showing that, JW.
I just took a picture of the card and kept it, and I was going to show it just as a curiosity, I guess you'd say. That's the only time I ever seen it. Anything, rest of them they totally cleaned up, but they propylized that one. That bunch of bees did.
At first, I thought that was a good P&J sandwich he was working on there. So,
Sweet Harlan said they've had some do the same, but that's.
Oh wow! Okay. So, folks, to get that hashtag swarms in there for this next round that we're doing, and then we'll give it just another minute, and then we'll give it a spin, and we'll see how it goes. So, JW, you got any surprises for Tom and Melissa, or are you just do something on the fly. I figured you guys are always being mischievous to each other.
No, I really don't, honestly. Unless it was doing some advertising on Facebook this afternoon about coming to their EMBA deal, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you got anything back from Christmas, and I said, I'm going to spend my money on candy. My Christmas money on candy. I'm not interested in that crap. I've already signed up anyway, and she knew that, but I just aggravating her.
I figured you might buy you one of them bourbon honeys off of them or something, you know.
Yeah. That probably is not going to happen. I'm sorry. I'm not. I have my taste towards the bourbon smell still hadn't changed any. It's almost offensive to me.
Yeah, that's good. If LaRobbies would like to come on and just tell us a little bit about his stuff for Nobby, you're welcome to come on, Rob, tonight and let us know about your what might be new or what you've got going on. You're more than welcome to do that. And Russ Copeland definitely made a good comment there. Thank you, Russ.
Good idea.
Yeah, it's pinned at the top if you'd like to come in. If not, no big deal. If you want to leave some information in the chat, we'd be glad to post it on here tonight. So
He might be really well. He was on here. He might be busy though.
yeah, he may
Getting
be a bit.
getting ready for Nobby.
I had a post on today. They had everything pretty well packed. I think he's got his trailer packed.
Yeah, I did see that. Boxes and boxes and boxes.
He said he'd come on here in a few.
Yeah. He said he'd pop on, so that'll be good.
Yeah, come on in there,
We'll go ahead and let Lee do his drawing while Rob's kind of getting set up to come in and talk to us for a second.
Hey, y'all ready for this?
Yep.
Oh,
Oh,
boo.
I thought
Really?
Oh,
Off by one.
I could almost drop that at Joey's. He ain't too far from me.
Throw it over to Joey.
Yeah.
Hey, see, we
Hey,
got
Dawson.
Dawson down there in the comments. Hey, Dawson.
Yeah.
Hey, Dawson.
if you guys don't know, Dawson was with us last year helping us sell hives, and we had Lee there with us selling some hives also. And heck, even Tom come by. We were so busy. Tom here, Max B's April, he come in. He was helping sell some of our horizontals. I mean, I tell you what, it gets hectic down there, and to have good friends to jump in and help you is absolutely awesome. And we appreciate that, Tom. And there was several other people that jumped in to help us out. And, we sold a hive to JW last year and became good friends with JW. Met him up at Greg's little venue up in Ohio. That was pretty cool. That's my first introduction to JW. Just shows you how the Nobby connects people together. And a little story with little Robbie's here also, and was that when we went to Hive Life, I brought down 3 horizontal hives and was showing them, and had Randy McCaffrey there, and I think Kelly's was there, and maybe there's a couple other little vendors there. Dayton was there, and Rob had one of his little vaporizers, and he had it sitting in the back on a little table. It was kind of in my little booth area. And Cayman had mentioned about his vaporizer. And it wasn't a second. I had a huge crowd of people back there in my little corner looking at his vaporizer. And I had talked to LaRobbie a little bit online. I said, hey, man, you want me to give some information about your vape stuff? I said, everybody's wanting to know about it. I ain't got a clue how it works. He gave me a little information, and we helped pass that along during Hive Life. So definitely was a great way to shows you where you start at and where you finish, and the collaboration that when you get hooked up with some really good people, how that works out. So, but we do appreciate Dawson in the chat tonight. He was with us last year, and he was
Dawson's a good guy.
Very good guy.
Yeah. And it's amazing how the vendors have grown since the first days of Hive Alive.
I
I mean,
mean,
Rob's one example,
yeah, and a great
and
example.
you guys,
Yeah, well, he not only did he take his vaporizer, he had his vaporizer, then he combined it with somebody else, and now he's
right?
made this super vape that is just, I think it's killing the market. It's, what I'm saying? It's absolutely amazing. So
Yeah, I agree.
here we go. We got Rob on here for a second.
Well, hey there.
Hey,
Hey,
Rob,
Rob.
Get myself all situated here. How are you guys?
doing
Hey,
good.
Rob, how you doing?
It's nice. It's nice to actually be able to talk to people because I've been dealing with nothing but business the past few days.
Yeah,
I bet you
I
have.
wonder why.
So, Rob, you got something new for the market, or you just? I know you've changed the model just a little bit. You want to kind of go over that a little bit,
Yeah,
and
so we got a whole host of things that are going on. So I'm actually super excited for this year. So as you guys were talking about, we have come a long way in just a few years. That first conference that you had talked about, we weren't even at. That was a unit that I had sent to Cayman, that I had designed and was just like, hey, this helps my bees. You helped me learn a lot about bees. This is my kind of thank you. And that's where we kind of got, hit off, and it just worked. How our kind of relationship started with the bee community. We got embraced very strongly from there, and then that was also during COVID too, so we were still, everybody was kind of feeling things out at that point. And then Hive Life happened, and we realized just how big this community is. And every year thereafter, it's just staggering. So to fill in some of the gaps, I guess, on our units for those who may not know. So the corded units I built way back when out of necessity, more or less. I didn't really like what was on the market. I thought it was overpriced for what it was. As it turned out, when I built my original one, I think I had parts for 3 of them. I was way more than what the one would have been if I would have bought it, but I was on a mission. It was what it was. And we did a lot of business with that and grew a lot. Weirdly enough, through the YouTube space, I was approached by a gentleman in Hungary. He called me on the phone, and I my phone number is public. Every one of our customers has it. I get calls all day long. So it wasn't abnormal. And he called and he's like, "Hey, we want you to sell this vaporizer." And at first we had talked for a half hour, and I was like, I don't really know. I really, we're a family-owned business. I don't really know that that's something that we want to do. And so I kind of turned him down out of the gate. He started comparing stats, and he's like, "Well, your battery one does 7 treatments, where mine does like 40 or something with the same battery." And I had a oh crap moment of like, he really over-engineered that thing and beat us something good. I mean, just no two ways about it. So I said, all right, well, I want to see him first. I want to understand what we're really doing. And that was the original Instant Vap, the one with the housing and no battery protection, the OG. And so I had him send me 2, and came and got one, and I got one. And we used them, I think, the same day or a day apart or something. And we called each other like 2 kids on Christmas, because it was like, it's like, oh my God, people need this. Like this is now a necessity. Like it's, the engineering alone that went into this. And then hearing the story of, he was told that a battery unit wasn't possible. So he spent 8 months trying to build one. Yeah. He spent 8 months just designing that product to be what it is and as efficient as it is. And to hear his story and how he went through that is fascinating. So, then now years later, him and I have worked very closely together to continue his growth and developing faster, better treatments. Yes, to Nancy's question. So they should all be set at 445 Fahrenheit. I I'll need some more context with that one. But
You definitely don't want to go too hot with that now. It'll do the opposite effect. So go ahead.
So the weird thing is, so I'm glad you mentioned that. So there's a study that will be released soon that I've gotten peeks at that actually show that there's a direct correlation up to a certain temperature, which is the piece that's still being discovered. But there's a direct correlation to a slightly elevated than even our normal temperature for OA. And that slight elevation actually leaves more OA in the colony than a higher dose at a lower temperature. So there's actually now there is a maximum where it degrades and it has its problem. There is stateside scientists who are figuring that out, and we've kind of been in the works with behind the scenes to figure out what those hard numbers are and what units really should be at. But it's very interesting to hear some of the preliminary findings of that they're saying it's not really a matter of more, it's a matter of finding the temperature and precise temperature control. Which luckily the instant maps are able to do, and it's a neat thing. OA is always advancing. We're always pushing the limits. Even with the light unit, we had a very steep realization of like there's a huge portion of the market who just can't justify the same tier of unit that we literally have guys who have 16,000 colonies and run a handful of them, and that unit could have 10, 20, even 30,000 treatments on it before it comes in for maintenance. Not everybody needs that caliber of unit for 10 colonies in their backyard. They just don't. And that's where the light came across. So we were able to trim out a lot of weight and a lot of discussions. And Janos did a really fabulous job putting that unit together, and it works really good for people at that hobbyist level. It really does. And really, I even have guys who are above 20 colonies who are like, this thing's great. I love it. For me, it's a time is money thing. So I'd rather be a little faster and have more investment because my time is so limited with at least my schedule and what I do that I have to be, time conscious in a lot of those ways. But for 10 colonies, you're not going to know the difference really if it takes another 30 seconds longer colony or what have you. It's trivial. When you have hundreds of colonies or what have you, it really matters. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff. At our Nabi booth this year, I'm hoping to have a lot of our inventions and creations that I've come up with that may not have gotten the spotlight that I've pushed or marketed correctly throughout the year. I got really big into not just the testing side, well, the treating side, but I got big into the testing side because mite wash is like it's a pain. Like people are mixed about them to begin with. Some people are like, I don't want to kill my bees, but I want to save my bees. Some people are like, oh, it's necessary, and I agree with that. Greg was actually the one who like made me a firm believer in that one. Greg Burns has a way of doing that, of
Yes,
preaching the right thing and getting you to, walk the right line. I tell you, that guy. But
yes, sir.
so as that turned out, like I went on a mission to make mite washes easier and faster. And one of the big things that turned me off of it was you go into a box to do a mite wash to try and figure out if you're in a good spot, if you're in a bad spot, where you're at in your mite level, percentage or threshold, what have you. And as it turns out, like you miss a queen, you end up washing her. Well, now you just did more harm to that colony than you would have good had you even just done a blanket OA treatment, or whatever. And I think I did that twice in like 2 years or something, and it really just never settled well with me from Russian and everything else. So one of the things that we made, and I don't have one sitting here, is like a queen excluder for the mite wash cup. So like you don't have to look for the queen anymore. The one and only downside is those who want to work their drones into their mixture, you have to look in your cup and go, okay, there's no queen in now 20 bees compared to 300. Plink her out if she's in there, dump them in the sample. Or if you just want to test the workers, you can test the workers. It's actually really effective, and I prefer it personally because now I don't have to look for the queen anymore when I collect those samples. So it's breaking down those barriers. So there's a few products that are in that. Like another one was what I call a quick dry. So the quick dry basically is a centrifuge, just like our honey extractors, but for the easy check itself. And when you dump the alcohol out of it, well, really it's Dawn dish soap, whatever you're using these days. You dump it out, you put the wet bees back in it, put the lid on. It's a battery powered device. You push a button, and within like 2 seconds, it spins up to like 5,000 RPM or something. It's got a big motor on it. Flings all the water weight off of it, and then you can weigh the bees that are left over. Divide it, generally speaking, by 0.11 of a gram in your phone, and after you weigh them and all that on a little pocket scale, and it'll give you like the exact weight of bees, generally plus or minus 1. And when you're counting a wad of bees, that takes 5-10 minutes, depending on how big your sample truly was, if you really want those hard data analytical numbers. Now, not everybody counts their bees. Most people go, a half cup or what have you is sufficient, and that'll get me close to know where I'm at, and that's fine. But I get really number based. I want to see the hard data, and if I'm doing the work, I want to know exactly what I have going on every time, and I don't want to waste time doing it. So that's where we have that product. So there's those kind of things that we're kind of bring to the market to hopefully encourage people of like, hey, if you have this downside that you have in the treatment or testing world, like regardless of, even if you don't treat, you should be testing. You should be understanding what your colonies are doing. You should be aware at a minimum. So we're trying to do that, to try and aid people to make just the community better as a whole, trying to give people access to the tools. It may not be for everybody or the majority, but if it helps a few people, in my opinion, it's well worth that effort. Got a question here. Rob, do you guys make a silicone insulation piece for the compact model? If you're talking about the yellow roof, which I would assume that is our insulator, we call it a roof. That will fit either of the big models. Yes, it's a square. It's just kind of is what it is, but it does a great job on the compact. I know many of our commercial guys run them just to get the extra, 10 or 15% of battery life out of them, because again, at those scales, it's more justifiable to buy an insulator compared to, an extra battery or what have you for every yard and a half, whatever it is. So we don't have one specifically for it, but it does fit. It was one of those things of, we don't sell a ton of them, though we do sell enough. Yes, exactly those. It's a special mold that was made to make that silicone part and make it exact for Instant Vap. And since they have the same cook pot and plunger tube, there was really no sense in reinventing the wheel just to make it more round. And just jack prices up for nothing, really, when it does a fabulous job as it is.
So tell us a little bit about the new model and the changes that you decided to make there. And that's the fun thing about what you're doing, is you're pushing the market to the next step, to the next step, next step. Hey, someone's giving me this feedback right now. Hey, let's add this to this. And maybe that didn't work, or maybe this will work a little bit better. So talk a little bit about how this has progressed to this next model.
Sure. So in a lot of ways, and like I said, I have to give credit where it's due. The true engineer is Janos at Instant Vap. I play a lot of role in giving him proper feedback and having a lot of lengthy discussions as far as what the market needs, what I'm feeling from the customer, and that kind of thing. But they are manufactured overseas, so I just want to make that kind of clear here. That being said, some of the considerations that went into it was the light has a single heater. It's got a bowl that's, I think, about a third or close to a half of the original weight. And through testing, we actually found that was all that was really needed to conduct those treatments. It turned out to need more reheat time, so it wasn't great. Like, we couldn't do that with the bigger units. The cycle time's too low. But because of that, we were able to use the same bulletproof electronics from the compact, a single heater and lighter cook pot. And it turned out to be energy efficient enough that, like, technically speaking, you can get more treatments per amp hour, but they take way longer. So they kind of balance out. That's kind of where that goes. The other neat thing that we're also getting into is we have a lot of guys that are in the, well, I won't say guys, customers who are in that price range, who are trying to be budget friendly, who are maybe just getting into bees and trying not to do the big investment, but do right by the other bees. Generally, they don't have these, $250 batteries kicking around that you need to run these bigger units. So this unit can also be the light unit, because it's got a single heater, has a lower amp draw. So it can actually be ran on the 1.5 or 2 amp hour batteries, primarily a 2 amp hour or larger battery, which means any drill kit comes with a battery that will run this, which is a huge step in the market, because a lot of the conversations that I have with new customers is, how big a battery is this? The right model? Is this the, how many can I get out of this? There's a lot of that conversation. So for the backyard hobbyists, the batteries they have generally are good. Also, the battery socket placement. I originally thought like, it's not great. Maybe it'll rotate a little bit. It doesn't. Rotate when put in the colony, that is. It doesn't. It's very planted. I've done a lot of treatments with them at this point. What it ended up being a benefit to is now we can run these adapters that allow brands like Ryobi. While Ryobi may not be the cream of the crop, the best battery you can buy, it is definitely in that affordable market, and a lot of that customer base will have those batteries. So now we can accept a battery connector that would generally make the unit too tall off the ground and would hit the bottom of the boxes or entrances or what have you based on the battery design. And with an adapter that is not on the market yet, but we've got them in stock, so we're super close. It connects onto a DeWalt socket, and then you plug the Ryobi battery in, and it's actually a really nice piece of equipment. Like it's actually really nice. But now it opens us up to a lot more of a budget-friendly mindset, so that people don't have to spring all the crazy money to get to that, really really good price point. So it's got a lot of changes like that. Truthfully, one of the downsides is the plunger itself is different. It's smaller. I'm not really a fan of it. It works great. It does the job, but I look at things from a scale perspective, right? I don't run 10 colonies. When I'm out there treating, I got to go through a lot of them. It just kind of is what it is. When you get into the 10, 15 range, you have to dunk it in water to cool it down. It sounds crazy, but it's really designed for not that many treatments, so that doesn't matter. But if you have the time and want to save the money, the way that you could basically treat as many colonies as you want is just cooling that plunger down. And there's ways too that like you don't really have to do that. Like if you only have it in there when you are administering the treatment and it's physically out of the cook pot contact, out from contact in the cook pot, every time that it's not, as a chamber, it'll be dropping in temperature. It'll be losing temperature constantly. And the extra, 30 seconds or so between colonies when it's reheating or what have you will help keep that low. I don't do that, which is why I have to dunk mine in water every so often. But it just is what it is. You also have to maintain them a little more, just because they're shorter. They get a little bit more hot, so the OA can cake in the threads a little. Again, when you dunk it in water to cool it off, you give it one of these, and magically it's clean. It's that easy. It's an extra step. So far, though, those are the only two negative thoughts that I have come up with, and that's not people like really giving me negative feedback. Everybody loves them. That's just things that I've found from me trying to use the thing in my yards and scale it where it's really not designed to be scaled.
And you're probably more critic on it, because if you're like me with my horizontals, it's like, oh well, I don't know if that works the way I want it to. We got to figure out how this might be a little bit better. I'm more picky on it, right?
Yeah, you are your worst enemy. That's kind of the way that I feel about it. So there's things that I nitpick like that people won't even look at.
Nope.
Won't care about, won't nothing. So this is a very good question from 33 Mile Bees. So I get a lot of questions about these tablets from Mike's Bees and their powder. So we sell their powder. I do not sell their tablets. They promote their tablets a lot. I think they have a place in the marketplace. I don't personally think for the Instant Vap itself that they're the right fit for the unit. And here's my concept. So it's not that they won't work, but you're taking a measuring device out of the Instant Vap to put in a pre-measured tablet to let it start smoking, to then put a plunger, which is your pre-measured dosage applicator, back in.
Right.
So you're kind of adding an unnecessary step, in my opinion there. So again, I think they're doing a great thing for our corded users as well as other brands of other brands that don't have plungers or dosage applicators. There's a lot of them on the market that are like that. But being able to just set your dosage like 4 grams, jab it in a bag, stick it in the unit, like that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to be as simple and easy as possible. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. I think it adds a step with the instant VAP, but I do think it has the right place in the market for the right customer.
Let me ask you a question, and I think there might be another question on here.
Sure.
Do you suggest drilling a hole in the back of the hive and doing the instant VAP in the back, or do you say in the front?
So you guys
And I
are
will
full of
say
good questions tonight. That's a good one.
I seen Greg Burns use yours. I think it may have been Ohio. He actually put a piece of cork in it for the hives that are plastic, so it doesn't melt those hives. So kind of go through that just a little bit,
Yep.
and then we'll get to these others.
I got all that. So both of those are great points. So the first one of, do you go through the back or the front generally? I tend to lean people to treating through the front of the colony. The main reason is you have a higher potential of clogging if you're treating through the back of the colony. Not because the InstaVap can't handle it, it's because wood wicks most boxes that are not dipped and what have you will wick moisture around that hole if it's been raining for days or what have you, and you try and sneak out and do a treatment. And the water, the wet wood can actually suck heat out of the stem and promote clogging. It's not all the time. Most people may never have an issue with it, but it is a side effect. There are other unknown variables like frames, wax, propolis, dead bees if you're on a poor angle, all that kind of stuff that really can happen in the back of the colony. These just aren't designed to keep the entire bottom board clean. I mean, we all know how many times we've been scraping burr comb from them, building to the frames and stuff off the bottom. So anytime that OA touches something that's below that 375-degree threshold, which is everything in a bee box, if it touches it close to the stem, not immediately blocking it, touches it, it'll build to itself until it touches the stem. That increased mass will cool down the stem and immediately solidify all the way up.
Wow.
And if that ever happens, if that ever happens, the easiest thing to do is just to reheat the stem, because you're not battling a jammed in blockage. You're battling a bigger mass that's not designed to heat that bigger piece. So a pocket lighter or what have you unplugs that immediately. But because of those reasons, I tell people when they can, be in a suit, have your respirator on, treat through the front of the colony. 1 out of every 10 will get fussy with you, which is why I say to have your suit on. I've had them sting me out back of the colony too when I'm in a t-shirt. It happens. But as it goes, like you really need to, have those in consideration when you're deciding if you're going to treat through the front or back of the colony. The back of the colony and that hole, you have to maintain. You have to have something shoved in it. And most of the time, people re-drill them when they're out there to remount the hole to, accept the vaporizer correctly. And those holes do wallow over time with water and heat and all that. So, that happens. So yes, bee sting. I am also allergic, so I try to negate that as much as possible. That was another thing I learned in this business, was just how allergic I really became. That was the whole thing. So question number 2 came down to, okay. So real quick before I get to question number 2.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So I would love to see pictures. If you ever get one that doesn't hang right on a box or something like that, like please email me pictures. Like I want to see if it's a standard box, it should hang and fit correctly. There are tips and tricks that we can do to get you working better. But if there's unique things like that and it's a general consensus, that kind of thing, like we could plan that for next revisions or things. So like by all means, you get fitment problems, you get questions, you get thoughts, like send them to me. Like email, it's larabis@gmail.com. Like send it. I would love to see that stuff. Just because we learn that way. That's how we learn. That's how we get a better product for you all.
Absolutely.
So that being said, question number 2 about Greg. That plug that he was putting on there, the cork plug, was for, I believe, his Apame colonies. He was treating through the portals on those colonies.
Yep.
After he had made that video, we had him go out and do an inspection of the frames immediately inside of that hole. And what ended up happening was the OA sticks, like I previously mentioned, to anything 375 degrees or less. Everything in that bee box is a magnet for OA, which is why when you spray below the frames, it gives it time to disperse and kind of break apart before it just sticks to itself and itself and itself. So what he found was all the OA just kind of, not all the OA, but a large majority just stuck to the side of his frame. So there was a noticeable white powder ring where there was a clump of OA there. So that really ended up not being the right solution, even though it is something. Like in a pinch compared to nothing, it is something. Don't get me wrong. But we have Apame insulators now that we finally have a good supply of. I've been battling the machine and shop that makes them. We finally have that figured out. I've got a bunch of those. It's been a battle every month or two. I go out of stock on those. So some people have them. Some people are still trying to get them. They are back in stock. But that insulator just goes on the front stem, and you can treat right through the front entrance of the colony. The only downside with the Apame insulator is you have to hold it because it's plastic. You get too much leverage. You get too much heat to transfer, and it just kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
So as far as the polystyrene hives, for those who are running those boxes, there's 8 or 9 different styles, and polystyrene's a whole different thing. We're working on individual solutions for them. The Hive IQ boxes, I think I've got a working prototype. After we get through this conference, I should have a solution for those. And I have one of kind of each, the license boxes, the all of it. I'm going to hope to work my way through each one so we get a right solution. I'm trying to make it where it's not a thing that everybody's got to modify every box they own, something that we can kind of add to the vaporizer more or less and get a productive treatment out of it. Because everybody, in my opinion, should have the right to treat their bees and keep healthy colonies. I mean, just kind of why we do what we do.
That's right. And there's some other treatments out there. I love OA. That's what I treat early spring, and I treat late fall, and I'll treat in midsummer when the brood, you have that brood break right before after the honey flow's gotten there. So I love my OA, but there are some other stuff out there if it doesn't work for you. But if you ain't got one of these little Bobbies instant phase, it's a lifesaver. It really is. And Rob, if you don't mind, can you give us your booth number that you're going to be at? At
Sure. So I believe, and don't hold me to it, we are. The last I saw, we were 400. Now I saw things before the big list was put out. To my knowledge, we will be right by the front doors when you come in. I think we got 8 spaces this year or something. So we doubled the size that we did last year, and I'm keeping the mini truck at home, so we're gonna have a ton of space. So that was a whole thing. Mini truck. I have one of those Japanese mini trucks for those who weren't there, didn't see.
Right.
Up a ton of space in our trailer. And this year our trailer is packed. We posted some videos and stuff of that. And actually we got it all in one trailer, not 2 this year because I decided to keep the mini truck home. So I should have had that thought last year, but it made a good experience out of it.
So how many people are you going to have working for you this year? Because I mean, I see you're like me. You start with just a few people. Next thing you know, you've got all these people because your product continues to grow, and you want to be able to socialize and talk and do other things also. So have you moved up on your number of people in that booth to help?
Yeah. So we have a few extra this year. I'll have my videographer Nick with me like normal. He does a great job documenting for our YouTube. I think that's really our big highlight of our YouTube channel throughout the year. So I think we're somewhere in like the 6 range. I think we have 6 employees, including myself, going. We have other people helping throughout the days and that kind of thing. But as far as people that are going with us from Baltimore, who will be working the show, not extra family that will be outside of the show, I think 6 is our number. So these frame scrapers, I don't really have a number fixed yet. There's a little banter between my mom and I, both sides of our company as far as what numbers will be what. So I like giving things away. Essentially, she likes making me make sense, and it's going to be realistic. It's going to be practical. Those scrapers are going to be one of the only things that we're not going to have pre-order on. So we bought a CNC machine for milling out aluminum, technically for milling aluminum molds for making plastic components stateside, so we can start doing more manufacturing stateside. And these scrapers are the first product that will sell from that CNC machine. So they're just a limited run. If they go, if they end up going great, great. If they don't, then that'll kind of be the end of them. We did 3D print them in years past, and we got asked a lot about them. It was something that my Apame boxes are really tight, and the sides of my M bars, I'm always scraping propolis off of them to make sure I can get them at the right spacing. So that's really what it does. It's super handy for what it is. But I think we've only got like 60 of them or 65 of them or something. It was a few days of machining and learning the machine and all that. So again, there's all kind of stuff like that we'll have. We're trying to reach a little further than just the vaporizers to try and bring our quality across the board. So yes, if any of you guys have met my mom, I don't know about your guys' mom, but my mom is A, awesome, and B, wins with all of our stuff because, well, she is mom and she has a way of doing that. So yeah, she will be with me. She is extremely excited for the conference. My wife will be there as well. My wife is extremely excited to wear her expecting work shirts because we are expecting our first child. So she is extremely happy about that, as am I, because this whole thing, all these people that we run into are literally just family to us. I mean, it really that's the best way to describe it. I mean, but business aside, there are so many people who talk to me on a daily basis, and I swear I'm talking to like just another friend constantly. Like it's such a neat thing. But then when you get to Nobby, that whole thing is just turned up to a 10. It's really, really, really fascinating just how big it gets.
Man, somebody let trouble in.
Yeah, we got Tom and Melissa to jump in on us here. It
Oh,
looks like we're
man.
still driving.
We're in the car. We might lose you. We're in the Branson area, so we got a lot of hills and
You guys got any questions for Rob here before we let him go tonight?
Got any questions for Rob?
Yeah, I was wondering if you can signature on my new compact that I'm getting at Nobby.
So say it one more time. Something about a compact he's getting at Nobby.
Yeah, hey Rob. So I'm driving, so I'm not going to look at you, but
that's good.
I was just wondering if maybe I could get your Hancock on my new compact that I'm picking up down at Nobby.
You want you sign?
Definitely could. Definitely doable. Whatever you want, we will oblige. So, yeah, whatever you want. So it is going to be crazy at our booth. Also, for those who are picking up, don't feel like you have to be the first person. Like, don't feel like you have to pick it up in the first 10 minutes or before we start. We always get slammed with the before we starts. Like,
Yep.
I'm gonna try and make a rule not to hand anything out until we actually begin because we get all caught up with time. But like, don't feel like you got to carry it around all day. It's allocated. It's set aside. You can get it whenever. Just get it before the show's done, and that's it. So we try and make it easy. If you can't attend, you can always pick up. Reach out to me. Allocate a friend to pick up for you. Whatever. Like it. We make it work. Whatever the scenario, just got to talk to us and get that set up.
Yeah, I like right at the last day, early morning, come get the last little bit of your stuff, and we'll send you on your way. That always worked out best for me because it's so busy at the beginning of the show because you got so many new customers that you're trying to fight through. If you're there and you already know you've got it, go enjoy everything else and then come back by. That definitely works out great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and as you guys know, those who have been to our booth, like we will go 4 or 5 people deep all the way around our booth for the first 4 hours or something. It really feels like for the first 14 hours. So it is it is a lot. So by all means, if you get questions, I will be around. I will be eating cough drops like crazy. If you guys haven't picked up on that over the years, I lose my voice every year from talking to beekeepers. It just is what it is. Beekeepers can talk, and I love every bit of it. So that's what it is. So yeah. So if there's no more questions, I think I'm going to scoot and let you guys get back to your thing, and I'm going to get back to my paperwork here. And
Well, Rob, we appreciate you coming on and being with us, and
Yeah.
take a few seconds and enjoy it. You've been at enough of the shows now. Take that extra breath
Yeah.
and enjoy every minute of it. And I appreciate you coming on tonight.
Yep. I'm going to do one more thing on my way out. I'm going to be in the comments section. We'll drop a coupon code or two. I'll make some rolls up. I'm going to make them a good one for just a few, so those who dive at it first get it. And we'll just kind of see how it goes. But that'll be my little kick to you. Thank you for hosting. Thank you for having me. And happy holidays for all you guys. Merry Christmas, belated Merry Christmas, and New Year's right around the corner. So is Navi. So I will see you guys then. If I don't see you, I'll see you around.
Appreciate you, Rob.
Hey,
Thanks, sir.
Christmas doesn't end until the 6th of January.
Not wrong. You're not wrong. All right. See you, fellas.
See you,
Have a
Rob.
good
Yeah,
evening. See you, Rob.
See ya.
that was really awesome having Rob on here tonight. And again, gets you so excited for Navi. Oh, man, I tell you what, I'm going to miss not being there this year. So.
Yeah, one of my goals this year was to stop and talk to every vendor, every booth.
Wow.
Just enough, just to see what they got to give and get to know them a little bit more
Yeah.
across the board.
And I think that's
Yeah.
really good because there's some vendors that you might not think have anything to do with what you want. And what you're talking about, just stopping in for a second and see what they got. You're like, oh, man, I'm so glad I stopped. They've got something that I wanted or need, so that's awesome.
Right. Or the next year is during later on in the year, you go, oh, I remember visiting that booth.
Yep. So, DC, we're 4.5 hours. I think it's 4.5 hours away from the Kentucky conference. So, it's still a little bit of a drive. Yeah, we're going to finish up here in just a second. Rob said something about giving a coupon. If he does that, we'll give it just a few more seconds and go from there.
Yeah. It's already 10:30.
I know,
Yeah,
man.
that's
It's
kinda
roll by. Tell you what, I enjoyed everything Rob said. It gets me excited when he talks about the engineering part of it and how things
Yeah.
really start coming together. See, he started this. He met with somebody else that's working on the same project, basically, and they're meeting in the middle, making a great product for people out there. So, it gets me excited. And then when he talks about engineering, because you hear what he said on there, he says, well, tell me what you're having problems with and what's not working for you so I can get better at it. And that's what I tell my customers. Tell me what's not working so I can make the improvements for your colonies, make them better for you.
Yeah, he's always looking out to make the best one
Yep.
with everybody's input.
Yeah, and you just continue to modify it, make it better each time. Not that the first one wasn't good, it's that you just continue to listen to what your customers want and continue to make that product better. And that's what a good vendor does, basically.
Right.
They listen to their customers what they want to. So,
Well, there's always something to improve upon, whether it's something mechanical or just something aesthetic,
Right.
Yep.
And there's always new
Said
technologies
he's
every
scared
6
about
months.
asking for John Hancock.
So, Tom and Melissa, how was your Christmas? Give us a little rundown on how that's gone, and did you mess in your bees any?
Oh, I was bad this year. Melissa didn't buy me anything.
So it looks like Robbie's here. He says, okay, the code is horizontal bees, 15% off for the first people that use it. If it does not work, then it's maxed out. So I guess you have to go on his website to do that. Is that correct?
Probably so.
Yep.
Jump on that deal.
Yep.
If Tom wasn't driving, he'd be on there spending more money.
No doubt.
I mean, I've already bought 3 of them for crying out loud.
That's right. We got to save the rest of our money for John Hill.
I was going to
Yeah.
ask you for a loan.
Oh, asking JW for a loan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, folks, we're going to go ahead and end the show. Get in on that Larabi's thing. Jump on that site and put that in if you haven't gotten a Larabi's vaporizer already, and put that in for your code. And we want to say happy holidays. We got New Year's coming up, and I hope you had the best Christmas there was out there. So until next time, we'll see you then.
See everybody.
See ya. Everybody have a good night.